well, let's see, it's not working. That was one hell of a show. But first and foremost, thank you guys for tuning in to the MMA rating. Let me get that fixed. Okay, boom. What's up, everybody? This is Raphael back for the second recap episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, where we'll be talking about WWE Extreme Rules, which just went off the air maybe about 10 minutes ago. And today's July 14th, and my name again is Raphael Garcia. So, as always, you can catch me at rgarcia_sports, where we are always talking about the world of professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, and just about everything else. MMAratings.net, where you can go and you can rate all of the mixed martial arts action happening week in and week out, and also catch our content on professional wrestling and our weekly podcast around such and MMA that goes on each and every week. So yeah, what did we all just see go down tonight? I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I came into Extreme Rules kind of wondering just how excited I was for this show. I wasn't quite sure. It seemed like there was a lot of opportunity here, but no one was really sure if it was going to come through in the final product. And what ended up happening was from 6 o'clock all the way up until like 10:45 ish. I got a show that I was very pleased with. It came off much better than anything that WWE has done in the last few months. I think everyone's going to respond in such a way that this was a good show from start to finish, and we got quite a bit to talk about from Extreme Rules today. I'm going to start with the main event. I don't usually do that, but I'm going to start with the main event and kind of the big news that came out of the showcase is that Brock Lesnar is now your WWE Universal Championship. This is his third reign where he used his Money in the Bank cash in to take the title from Seth after Seth and Becky defeated Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. After that match was over, Lesnar with Paul Heyman came down to the ring, hit him with two German suplexes, one F5, pinned him 15 seconds, the match is over. We have a new champion. And I think this is the first time I really feel like this has happened with Brock, per se, that the response wasn't immediately negative. We know he's not been the most, what's the word, committed champion as of late. 'Cause, he only comes around once a month or so. So it'll be interesting to see if there's anything that WWE can change that. It'll be interesting to see if Paul Heyman's new inclusion in creative will help change that as well too. I hope it does, because no one wants to see that situation go back to where he's here and just for like 2 or 3 pay-per-views a year, we only get a title back for 2 or 3 pay-per-views a year, and that's that. So let's see what I'm not going to crap on this now. Let's kind of see what happens, because just as the show gave us tonight, we know that WWE is trying to change some things and trying to move in a different direction, especially as their competitors in AEW and around the world continue to up their game. We know that WWE is trying to change some things and do some things differently, and this show I think really kind of proved that. So yeah, let's kind of start with the main event, start with that big news, and work our way backwards from there and talk about this card, which was, I think, was good from top to bottom. I don't think there was anything bad on this card at all. I would gladly sit down and watch this whole show again. I might do that sometime this week. But as I mentioned, Lesnar gets the win over Seth Rollins, two German suplexes, one F5, and that was that. He did so coming off of Seth and Becky winning, defeating Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. And this match wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be heading into it. I really had a negative outlook on this match. Majority of the people that talked about it had a very negative outlook on this match and just wanted this feud to be over. I'm guesstimating that it is over after tonight. But the match itself wasn't that bad at all. It had some pretty good spots. It had the spot where Seth and Becky put Lacey and Baron Corbin through the table. It had multiple other spots, but the biggest one was Baron hitting the end of days on Becky Lynch. I don't think anyone saw that coming, and she sold it perfectly, and it set up Seth snapping, basically obliterating Corbin, hitting him with three curb stomps. This was before or after he hit him with the kendo stick, broke that, hit him with a steel chair, then hit him with the three curb stomps and put him away. But that moment right there, I mean, oof, I almost jumped out of my seat. I was sitting on the floor already, but I almost jumped off the floor like, what the hell? Because I don't think anyone saw that coming. I definitely didn't see it coming. No one's really seen it coming. I think it's the second time there's been that type of interaction between men and women in WWE in years. There was a Nia Jax Royal Rumble entrance earlier 2019, but outside of that there's been no like physical like fighting type of interaction between men and women in a very long time, and having Baron do that to Becky was perfect because I mean his heat has already been nuclear heat as well, kind of like the go away heat, but depending on who you ask, he's either a great heel or a piss poor one. But that moment right there got everybody up out of their seats. The crowd popped, everyone lost their shit all over social media, and you knew it was something big there, and it led to a pretty good moment with Seth beating the shit out of him and ending the match, and then segueing into Lesnar coming down and taking the title from him. All in all, I thought this was a good match. It did what it needed to do in ending the feud. We now, we'll see what's next for all the four people involved. Seth doesn't have his title. Becky does. Let's see what happens from there. Let's see if they kind of weave that storyline in. I hope they don't. I hope they kind of let them go back to being their separate people. But this was a good match. It was much better than the one from last month, and it was much more interesting. I think they gave us something different that held people in, even before the cash-in came. So yes, I was definitely excited with what I saw. It was some good action from start to finish, and that was the main event of the evening there. Before that, we got Kofi Kingston and Samoa Joe, and this match was okay. It went for less than 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Um, it had some good moments. I just I, it's I'll say it again. It's great seeing Kofi Kingston get his wins. It's great seeing him continue to do what he's doing and excelling in that space as champion. People are calling it a Cinderella run, etc., etc. It is what it is. But what I saw here was it was a mediocre match, and that's probably the word that I'll use. It was good, but it wasn't like it didn't elevate this show any. Like this match could be removed from Extreme Rules, and no one would really bat an eye at it. And I hate to kind of say it like that. They went for about 10 minutes, hit their typical spots. Joe was super stiff, making stuff look very real. Then he takes a Trouble in Paradise bouncing off of the ropes for the 1, 2, 3, no kick out, and they've continued to make the Trouble in Paradise look strong, which I appreciate because I don't think anyone's kicked out of it in a very long time, or not that I can remember. But they're continuously making that move look strong, making Kofi Kingston look very strong as well, and I can appreciate that. But this was a ho hum match; didn't really do a whole lot for me. But it served its purpose of keeping Kingston strong. Now with the New Day, they won their tag team title match as well. Now with that whole group having titles again, it'll be interesting to see what they do as a group next. That's probably more important to me than the whole totality of this match. But we'll see how that goes because I was pretty, just kind of struck my shoulders with this WWE Championship match. It, I'm a big fan of Kofi Kingston, big fan of Samoa Joe, but again, like I said, this match just doesn't really do anything for me, and I feel kind of bad because Samoa Joe is the guy who she should have had at least one WWE Championship run at this point in time. The man is a he's a hoss in between the ropes. Dude can do anything, as I've always said time and time again. He has the nastiest uranagi ever in professional wrestling. He's great on the mic. I mean, great on the mic from start to finish. He's great on the mic, and I love what they were doing with him from that space. But from a win loss position, I mean, he lost to Ricochet, lost to Kingston pretty clean here. Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out that in the last 2 years, he's 0 for 8 in title shots for either the WWE Championship or the WWE Universal Championship. So can we ever really take him seriously? I don't think he'll ever get that main line title. But he's so good. He could be such a monster if he was in that position. It's just unfortunately that's not the case, and we're probably never going to see him as a champion in WWE, which is really unfortunate because Samoa Joe is probably one of the best workers of this generation, and I love nearly everything that he's done. But unfortunately, he didn't get his hand raised tonight, and he took another L in another big matchup. It happens. This is all scripted, but it's unfortunate to see someone of his talent continually have that happen to him. Now the match before that, man, they're doing it's funny. On one side, I could say that they're doing everything wrong with Samoa Joe, but on the flip side, they're doing everything right with Kevin Owens. Him and Dolph Ziggler had this match planned, singles match. It was a throwaway match. Didn't have any real stakes. It was just a straight out feud, and less than 1 minute was needed before it was over. We get the bell rings, and they get their entrances. Dolph Ziggler slaps Kevin Owens and gets hit with a stunner, pinned 1, 2, 3. 17 seconds. That's it. And the crowd goes absolutely crazy. Owens gets on the mic, continues the promo that he was cutting from last week's SmackDown before the mic was cut, and finished it out perfectly. This is the opportunity for a feud with Shane McMahon that could be compelling. The only fear I have is that they ended up feeding Owens to Drew as Seth's henchman. I hope that's not the case, but man, they're doing everything right with Kevin Owens now. Even seeing him use the stunner, which I was kind of like about initially, even seeing him use the stunner in this situation, it's perfect. I mean, it was literally slap, kick, stunner, 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's all we needed. And they're continuously doing exactly what they need to do with face Kevin Owens to get him over. And I hope this run goes for an extended period of time because I think he could really be a huge star in that capacity. But this man is delivering, and the way that they're booking him right now is working totally for me. I'm appreciating everything that I'm seeing from him. This was an exciting match. This was an exciting moment per se. I'm not going to say it was an exciting match because it wasn't even really a match. And that's all we needed. We didn't need this to be a 25-minute barn burner between the two. I just needed something quick and funny. And you saw a lot of people tweeting out right before the match that this was only going to take 10 seconds. They was wondering if it was going to be a stunner and a finish. And while no one really kind of knew per se, this is exactly what happened. And I'm pretty surprised and pretty excited for what's next with Kevin Owens for sure. Then we have AJ Styles defeating Ricochet for the United States Championship. This match was placed on the card, I think, in the right position because they allowed these two guys to wrestle at a pace that slowed everything down at a time when the pacing of the show needed to be slowed down. Everything up to this point was, I don't want to use the term fast-paced, but it had people standing, cheering, crowd was going nuts. I mean, it was, even if we don't count the pre-show, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches before this that had the crowd going nuts. So they had to kind of slow them down just for a moment or two. And that's just what we got with AJ Styles and Ricochet. This was a slower paced match, and it's odd seeing Styles and Ricochet wrestle a slower paced match, but that's exactly what they gave us. But it was still a match that was very well delivered. I think it's being positively received right now because they hit all of their spots, and the inclusion of Anderson and Gallows made it work because they were playing the proper foils to Ricochet. Yeah, he played the typical stupid face gimmick where he gets put in these situations where it's 3-on-1, 2-on-1, whatever. The ref's distracting, he's getting beat down. That stuff happened, but he ends up losing clean to Ricochet, who as after he eats a style. Oh, excuse me. He ends up losing clean to AJ Styles after eating a Styles clash from the second rope. It's unfortunate to see Ricochet lose the title now, but it'll be interesting to see what situation he's placed in the future and how if he's going to be kept in that title picture, especially when you look at what happened with Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor earlier in the show, where Finn Balor lost his IC title to Nakamura as well. So it creates an opportunity for Finn to be used in a different way as well. I'm not even sure what show any of these guys are on. Like, I think Styles and Ricochet are both on Raw. I'm guessing Gallows and Anderson are now too. I'm not sure about Finn, but a lot of people are speculating that this is an opportunity to weave Finn into that club storyline and kind of build those four together. But we'll see where that goes. Anyway, this Styles and Ricochet match was good. I think that their House of Glory match was better, but it's almost two different styles of matches. That one was more fast paced. This one was slowed down, but it was slowed down for a particular reason, because I think they needed to help this crowd get the opportunity to kind of catch their breath and wind down after everything that they saw before that. And what did they see before this? The New Day picked up their sixth title reign by defeating Daniel Bryan and Rowan in Heavy Machinery. This was a great match. I've said it time and time again. I hated I hated Heavy Machinery when they were first kind of brought up. I thought they were going to be nothing more than a clown gimmick, and if they won the titles, it wasn't going to be anything that was kind of worth talking about. But not only did they win, so not only did they not win, but they played a part in this match that was pretty insane. This whole thing from start to finish was fast paced. It was a lot of fun, very enjoyable, and I definitely enjoyed everything that I saw from start to finish. There wasn't anything that I would kind of go back and change about this match. We had a couple of pretty big spots there. Let me see. I actually didn't write any of them down, but there were definitely some enjoyable spots there. The finish came when Daniel Bryan and Big E were in the ring together. Daniel Bryan went for his patented moonsault off the top to kind of get behind Big E, and Big E catches him. Then they hit the Midnight Paradise or whatever it is, whatever their move is called, to put him away. I'm just pleased with how this tag team match went. It was fun from start to finish. Everyone kind of got their shit in, and Big E continues to look like a star. Seeing him face to face with Daniel was exciting. I'm pleased with everything I saw from start to finish between these three teams. Heavy Machinery, I wouldn't be opposed to them and the New Day having a feud around those titles now. I think it was a lot of fun seeing those guys involved. They got over with the crowd. They got over with me. I think that's really what matters, because before this match, I was not interested in anything that they had to offer as a wrestling fan. I didn't want to see them in the ring. I didn't really care what they had to offer. But with what they delivered tonight, I am definitely pleased with both of those guys. So before this, we got so right now my match of the night is this Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley match, and that's saying a lot, because heading into this match, neither one of these two guys were booked correctly. They were basically throwaways in every regard of the word. No one really cared about either one of them. But for 17 minutes, these two men beat the shit out of each other, and that finish was exactly what was needed to correct all the misplaced or all the mistaken booking for both men. Braun hits a power slam from, I guess, like the walkway above. There's like a gap between one of the entranceways into the arena. He hits a power slam into, like, obviously it was like a bin or something like that. But he hits the power slam, and there isn't any way to see who's like standing up to walk out. Braun punches through the wall Like that's all I needed to see. As soon as his arm came through the wall, I'm like, they fixed it. They fixed the last 2 years, or a year at least, of mistaken booking for Strowman. He looked fantastic when he came through. Now the only thing is, he was selling a lot in this match, and they were kind of setting that up, saying that he was injured, selling coming into the match. But the way these two guys delivered, from the point where even Lashley was on the ground, goading Strowman, and hit him again. He's egging him on. All of this was done correctly, and I'm glad with what I saw. This match was much better than what I expected it to be. Right now, it's my match of the night. I'm probably going to go back and watch this whole thing, but it's definitely my match of the night from what I saw. Go back and watch. If you missed this match, please be sure to go back and watch it, because it's worth it every minute. It's 17 and 30 seconds right now. Right now, I believe it's the longest match on the card. Let me see if the main event went longer. Yeah, I believe the main event went longer than that, but right now it's listed as the longest match of the night, and it was exciting. It was great from start to finish. Bayley defeated Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. This was a handicap match for the Women's SmackDown Championship. It was good. Not it always I always wondered, like, they had to tag in and out, whatever, but forget it. So this was a pretty good match. I mean, it wasn't bad. I saw some people talking about it being bad online, saying, I mean, it is what it is. People are going to complain about women's wrestling any chance that they can. But I was pleased. I'm pleased with the story that they told, with Bayley getting the win over Nikki, because it allows them to continue the storyline of Alexa and Nikki Cross. And we know that Alexa's going to turn on Nikki Cross. So I hope we get something a little different, where Nikki turns on Alexa first. But we know that's what that sets up. And I would like to see Nikki turn on Alexa first and cement herself as the number one contender with Bayley, and perhaps put herself in a position to get that title back. This match was overshadowed a bit because a lot of people were looking for Sasha Banks to return, based on what Nikki Cross said last week on either Raw or SmackDown, whatever show that was on. And thankfully that did not happen, because I think it would have really overshadowed the good wrestling that these three women did. But Bayley gets the win. She keeps her title, and we get to continue the storyline between Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Then we had the match that everyone knew was going to be awesome. Everyone knew it was going to deliver, and I was hoping, I'm like, man, I hope this show opens up, or this match opens up the card. But we're going to talk about that in a second. But Aleister Black defeating Cesaro in about 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 45 seconds in a singles match. This gave us everything that we needed. That ending sequence, so in the whole match, Aleister was working on, he was delivering a lot of leg kicks to Cesaro from start to finish. Leg kick, leg kick, leg kick, to a point where Cesaro began selling the leg. So the finishing sequence was Aleister throws a leg kick and then tries to throw a leg kick to the other side. Cesaro checks both of them. Aleister fakes low, comes high with the black mass, and knocks Cesaro clean out. The way he sold it was fantastic. And he goes down. We get the 1, 2, 3 matches over. But everything that led up to this was perfect. From Cesaro countering the Meteora into a European uppercut, just the stiffness. I mean, there's nothing was wrong with this match for me from start to finish, and I'm definitely going to go back and watch this one sometime this week, because they delivered 110%. We knew that the minute Cesaro was revealed as the guy who was going to be facing Aleister Black in his first singles match since April, or I think his first televised match since April. Once we saw that, everyone knew that this match was going to deliver, and that's exactly what it did, because it delivered. Both of these guys went, and I don't want to get this match redone right now. Let these two guys go about their way, do their own thing. Let Black feud with someone else, let Cesaro go about do his own thing. But if they came back to this and it was like like a mid-card title or something like that, I would love to sit there and watch these two guys go, because like they gave me everything I wanted to see in a match, especially someone like me who has an MMA background and enjoys these harder, strong, quote unquote, strong style matches. This was everything I wanted to see right here from start to finish. And hats off to these two guys because this is, I mean, it was 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, and a lot of people are probably going to mark this as their match of the night. Then right before this, we got another candidate for match of the night, probably a candidate for tag team match of the year, with the Revival winning over the Usos, keeping their titles at 12 minutes 35 seconds. I really, coming into this match, I kind of felt, we all knew that the Revival was going to win just because of the contract talks around those two guys, and we knew that what type of position that they were in heading into this match. But and everyone knew that they were going to deliver. I mean, there wasn't any questions about that either. And that's just what they did for 20, so almost 20 some odd minutes. How much time did they go? Only 12. It felt longer than that. But the fact that they went from start to finish, it was nothing bad about this match either. The Shatter Machine is always going to be one of my favorite finishes. I love it. I don't know why I love it so much, but it was this is just that's just my jam. They hit all their spots or whatever. I'm kind of over the Usos. I know that's blasphemous to say, but I get why they remain in the title picture because they are so good. But to be honest, I'm kind of over those two. But this was a good match for these four men because again, it cements tag team wrestling. We've all felt like tag team wrestling has been forgotten about within the WWE, but we had two excellent matches on three actually excellent matches on this card. I've totally forgot about the first one. But let's see what's next for the Revival. Let's see what's next for the Usos. I don't think there are. The tag team division doesn't have a lot of depth, but they do have teams on their roster that they can bring in and bring out. And it's just something that we gotta kind of wait and see what's next because I don't know what team they're going to go to next. Is it AOP? Is it someone else? We'll see. But I hope that we get a decent few coming out of this for the future. And then, we go to our opener. And I must say it was a very smart idea by whoever called it to put The Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre match on first. Because I even said it when I read that this match was coming up first, I got excited because I thought it was going to be looming over the show for me. I'm not a fan of Roman, not a fan of it. Out of these four guys, the only one I'm a fan of in any regard is Drew McIntyre. I've never been an Undertaker fan, but I'm definitely not a fan of the 54-year-old Undertaker who I just think can't go like he once could. Is just not. He's just not that guy anymore. But this match proved me wrong, and it proved me wrong in a sense where maybe he still has a little bit left in the tank. He went out there and he was moving so like his first tag in, he was moving so fast, hitting his moves, hitting his spots. He did the walk the tightrope thing. He did like nearly everything but his suicide dive over the top, which no one wants to see him do anymore. And he delivered. And the moments that he had in there with Drew McIntyre, we know that they're trying to push forward to a situation where him and Drew have a match at SummerSlam. If you were to tell me that without me seeing this tag team match, I would totally no sell it and say I want nothing to do with it. But the way that they delivered between these four men makes me want to see what Drew and Undertaker would do in a match together in a one-on-one match. Hopefully Drew will go over. We're at that point now where he should be going over these in these big matches because he needs to be submitted as a title contender. But what I saw here for 17 minutes, I'm totally okay with. Undertaker looked good. There wasn't any moments where it looked like he was about to die out there. He hit all of the spots. He almost flubbed doing the tombstone to Shane the first time around, but he corrected it and got the finish there. I really enjoyed what I saw here. Everybody looked good. There wasn't anything pretty bad about this match. I mean, Drew McIntyre is a beast, and I just want to see more from him. I definitely want to see more from him in the main event picture, and hopefully that happens. Something that happens sooner rather than later. Let's get him out of this storyline with Shane as fast as possible because we know we know what this guy can do. We know he's a truth. There's a reason why he was dubbed that so many years ago, and I think now we're at a point in time where he can deliver. So on to our pre-show matches where Drew Gulak defeated Tony Nese. And this was what it was. Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Drew Gulak, I'm a fan of his. The man is doing double duty. He was just at Evolve last on Saturday night, having a match with Matt Riddle that I hear is a match of the year candidate. So I'm gonna go back and watch that. I saw their match on NXT, which was fantastic. So he did that match, turn around, and now he's at Extreme Rules, delivering another solid match with Tony Nese. So it was good. I would like to see, especially with Drew like having the title, it would be interesting to see if he got a little bit more play. Wasn't typecast to be around the pre-show. I think he has the personality that can help carry this show even more so than a Buddy Murphy did. I don't want to see Drew get called up anytime soon. Just let him stay on 205 Live and do his thing as champion. And then the first title change of the night came when Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Finn Balor to become the Intercontinental Championship. I think this is his first IC title, his second singles or second title reign in WWE. I'm not 110% sure if Shin was the face or the heel in this match. He celebrated like he was the face, but he did what he needed to do, and they're trying to build interest back up in Shin. Now let's see if he's on TV this week, or if this is another situation where we see a title change and we never see this guy again until it's time for him to lose it. Kind of like how they did with Finn, but hopefully we see a lengthy and purposeful reign out of Nakamura, because I think we know he's someone that can deliver in between the ropes. You can say whatever you want to say about his English not being great, but there's ways around that. This man can do the job. But yeah, Extreme Rules was much, much, much better than I thought from start to finish. I had no complaints about it, no issues about it, and I just really enjoyed everything I saw. It was much better than I think everyone really kind of thought it would be. And it gives us something to look forward to with Raw and SmackDown in the next few weeks as we continuously see what happens with Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff kind of taking over these new positions. This is a type of show that I guess can get us excited about it because it gives us something to look forward to. I'm pleased with what I saw. I'm pleased with the 5 hours, almost 6, that I sat and watched professional wrestling. Wouldn't I'm wouldn't be upset about that at all. I mean, if I have to, I may sit down and watch the show again just because it was that enjoyable to me. But all in all, this is definitely a show that if you missed it and you're listening to the show, go back and watch it because it's worth it from start to finish. Do so and do yourself a favor because you missed out on a lot of great action, a lot of development, and a lot of just great fun wrestling. So do yourself a favor and go back and watch the show. But I'm going to go ahead and close out. These shows are pretty easy when it's just me on it, just doing some recapping. I'm going to probably recap, or not necessarily recap, but more review and talk about my thoughts from AEW's Fight for the Fallen, which was on Saturday this week. I'll probably talk about that on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, whenever I can get a show up. But I'll be talking about that because I have some thoughts about that. I'm sure people were pretty pissed off about what I wrote about the Evolve counter programming, and I'll probably do some. So this Tuesday's show will probably cover Fight for the Fallen, Evolve, Raw, and SmackDown. And anything else I hear between it. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch the G1 matches. I'll try to do that this week because I hear that Ishii and Jeff Cobb match was sick. So I'll probably go back and watch that. Tanahashi, man, so many guys are 0-2 in G1 this year. Tanahashi, Kota Ibushi, I think Naito's 0-2, Kenta's 2-0. So let's just I'm looking forward to seeing what that tournament really kind of gives us. But I'm hearing great things. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. But either way, you can always find our content over at MMAratings.net. Go there to rate all of our mixed martial arts coverage, rate all the fights, and tell us what you think of all the action and how excited you are about upcoming fights. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at rgarcia_sports, where we're talking everything from. Follow me at rgarcia_sports, where I'm talking everything from professional wrestling to boxing to MMA, soccer, football, etc., etc. You can catch MMA Ratings at MMA Ratings Net on Instagram and Twitter to continue to stay up to date on our work. But either way, thank you all for listening to this recap show. I am again pleased with what I saw from Extreme Rules, and if you missed it, man, go back and watch it because it was a hell of a show. Have a good night, everyone.